that Puck has just been generally quite slippery. I am also going Nigma, which feels bad because, you know, Viking, they've been grinding out their other games. They made it through to upper division, but we're looking at and a major hell of a performance from Nigma, so it's hard to go against them. Let's see how it all happens in game number 1 with our casters Sunsfan and AUI 2000.
Thank you, Tsunami and panel. Sunsfan here with AUI 2000, aka Curtis. Used to be under the DC banner, then you abandoned me, and now you're a caster. How are you doing, young man?
That was the beginning of the end. I'm doing well, though.
Good. That's great to hear. What do you think of this matchup between Team Nigma and the old Vikings?
Well, before talking about the players, I was just sort of interested about the draft because we saw the Ana Major, LGD versus EG Grand Finals Game 1. When they picked Axe against Timbersaw, the Axe absolutely destroyed the Timbersaw in lane. So I'm sort of surprised they didn't do that this game. Instead, they opt for a different mid hero. I expected this Morphling to go mid. I think it's pretty good versus Magnus. And then you have the Axe carry versus Timbersaw. I think that's what an LGD would have done. But Nigma, they have a different idea.
Yeah.
Curious to see that. Matchup-wise, I think most people are coming favoring Nigma. They had a pretty good run in an Ana Major. Meanwhile, Viking lost to was it Team Spirit in Pinnacle Cup? They got third.
To battle.
I think they lost to Team Spirit.
Yeah, of course, they were relegated. That was the big drama in the Season 1 of the DPC to Division 2, obviously. And
they did go 7-0.
Yes, well, I mean, that's Division 2, right?
It is Division 2, and they did look a bit shaky in some of their games. I don't think, like, the normal dominance you would expect out of the old 2020 Viking.
All right, well, the game is about to start here, and I mean, do you agree with the panels? We might have some action here. Mind Control linked up with GH. Shad really wants to get this early bounty rune, and Shad will get it.
A little bit short on that lion stun.
Yeah.
So what was that you were asking me to?
Thank you. That's very courteous of you, Curtis. Really appreciate you looking out for me. But the cooldowns here, like the panel is kind of talking about the Chronosphere. You have the RP. You don't really have a ton to put in the Chronosphere. Like in terms of the team fight, do you like what Viking has to offer, or is it like you have the Empower for Void, obviously, and you have Chakram inside the Chronosphere? Do you think they needed more, or do you think it's fine?
I don't really think you need that much chrono damage to play with Faceless Void, just in general. I think they should have enough. They do have Finger as well, coincides well with the cooldown. I don't think... If Timbersaw has a good lane, then the cooldowns don't matter. But if Timbersaw manages to get pressured, we saw the major a couple times where, like, I think Almay on Faceless... Oh my god, Kazu, alright. We see you. Nice Timber Chain. ILTW gets dropped. I won't, but I want to tip Kazu there because that was a pretty sick play from him.
Yeah, if observers could tip, that would be... I think that could be a thing that the Battle Pass maybe unlocks, right? Look at this. Nice stun from Armis, and they set this up. I mean, you always have to be careful.
Perfect. He had stick, but he wasn't expecting that pure damage coming out of Kazu.
Yeah.
It's a very underrated nuke. 60 mana for 100 damage. He just spammed that level 1. Got a kill on the Morphling.
Yeah, that's not something you see every day, though.
More importantly than even just a kill, which, I mean, it is important. They get lane control now because as Morphling was dead, he couldn't control the lane at all. Now they have it in front of the tower, and they're going to be able to pressure. This 5 Brewmaster is very greedy. It's not a strong laner at all. If Timbersaw has a good lane, then when your cooldowns are down, he can sort of push lanes and pressure anywhere on the map, and he can like bring all the attention to him. So even though you have this Chronosphere RP cooldown, he can make up for that time.
And you have in the mid lane, we haven't really talked yet about it, Miracle on the Puck versus Booms Magnus. How do you like this matchup, hero versus hero, not including the players themselves?
I'm not gonna lie, my worst matchups are definitely in mid lane because I don't play that much mid. In my head, I think both of them should farm. Puck should eventually out-harass Magnus, but then Magnus goes to the jungle and slightly out-farms Puck.
Right.
And then it's on like who has the better rotations with a little bit of Puck favor.
Right. All right, well, so far, pretty even overall. Boom has a little bit of a CS advantage right now.
Has 2 CS. 2.
Yeah, I mean, that first blood definitely hurt. There's no doubt about it. He's going to be left alone now to try to get some last hits under the tier 1 tower. I mean, in terms of, like, how big of an advantage does that give you dying at level 1?
And Morphling's the type of hero that he's really weak to level 1 and 2. When he gets level 3, he gets significantly stronger. When he gets level 5, he becomes a beast in lane. So anything you can do to sort of mess with the equilibrium, because he is a 280 MS hero, is very high value.
Well, GH getting harassed here a bit by Celery. I believe he picked up a Ring of Health from the secret shop, so...
I wonder if they watched Miracle's Puck at the Animator, because he never takes Facious. Every game I saw him, he went 4-4-0. So he is quite gankable. If he wastes orb to get a CS, they come behind him with some lions, secure him to tower, he can definitely die. And the reason I'm talking about this is because Timbersaw, it looks like his start is good enough that they're going to be to leave him pretty early.
Okay, yeah, that could have a pretty big impact on the game, right? I mean, right now, in terms of the top lane, Mind Control is just doing the axe things. Just cutting this wave to some degree. He's going to get harassed here. Curse of Avernus is there, but Sully just doesn't really have any damage to deal at this stage. I mean, Mind Control already has that ring of health, like we talked, that was passed over by GH.
You can see GH, he's even dewarding his ancient camp right now because he understands he's going to be freed up. Really cool, like, sentry from Viking. I don't think they expected this one on Nigma. Did you get it?
Armus getting chased by Kuro. So you're saying the position, I mean, obviously this is true, but the position 5 Brewmaster pretty greedy, but how does it fit in once you get past the laning stage?
I mean, basically, your idea with this hero is you're suffering a bit in the lane, but you're supposed to get a great team fight. They're going on Sully here, some nice blocks from GH.
Yeah, that's going to be a kill, no doubt about it. No, Boom is here with the shockwave potential. Skewers GH back into the tier 1 tower, but there's the tether to get to safety again. So Celery does live through that engagement overall. And now back to farming we go.
So back about the Brewmaster, you're basically betting that what you're losing in laning will be made up for in other aspects of the hero. Sometimes it's damage, sometimes it's team fight. For Brewmaster, it's like mostly control and team fight. I'm not sure, I haven't seen much of it, but the matchups he has is good. Like, you can just lift the Timbersaw into fights and ignore him, lift the core, then you're trading your 5 position for a core and you feel really good in these fights.
Boom trying to get aggressive here in the mid lane again, but Miracle with the illusory orb, the aphotic shield Celery. Boom staying alive for now. One more right click will do, but he's pretty fast. No skewer for another 11 seconds, but he's created a lot of distance here, trying to deny himself to Roche before the illusory orb comes, then he'll be successful.
He denies on
20
that
seconds. Yep, that is true.
He doesn't get the TP score though. That's always a moral, what they call, like,
oh, when you die to neutrals, you don't get a TP.
Yeah,
oh,
because usually if I feed, I just go, guys, I just want a TP score. He can't do that. Very disadvantageous.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, well, Kezu in the meantime in this bot lane, 23 and 7 in terms of CS. So he's doing fairly well. I mean, at some point, like level 5, I assume, he just starts. I mean, how do you like to see the Timbersaw play? Diving the tier 1 tower, trying to create as much space as possible, or?
I think this game, it's a little hard to pressure Morphling, usually. I'm not too sure like how much this First Blood will change that dynamic. If you can pressure the enemy carry, then that's always going to be your first option. But if you can't, then skipping the waves or cutting it and like wrapping on mid is also a good option. Or just honestly just focusing on your own game. Because he has a queued up. Once he has that, you should feel pretty immortal this game. Maybe Morphling has the timing. The level 6, you steal that Whirling Death. I've actually seen Timbersaws versus Morphling. Sometimes they skip their first spell. They go like 0, 2, 3s, just so that when Morphling gets 6, he can't have that timing on you because you don't see the skills, so you Morphling to him.
I see. Oh, bottom lane, they're going to lock down LTW again. He's attempting to get out with that attribute shift. Looks like he's okay for now, but they might turn this around to Kuroki instead. There's 3 members of Viking right now, but here comes Miracle. Made his first TP rotation. Shows himself now, has the coil available. Looks like he's going to use it. It's only going to be on 1, and it's just the support Abbott on level 2. Looks to be fine for now. He's going to get the aphotic shield off. Might try to turn this around on Miracle. Armus. He a man to work with. Miracle might get silenced here if he's not careful. There's the silence coming in. It's going to prevent the illusory orb. He gets hexed on top of that. And a huge kill for Viking in this bot lane.
That is really rough for Puck. Puck's the type of hero where you need your first rotations, especially your TP rotation to go up. But they're still going.
Yeah. ILTW is hanging on by a thread here. I mean, he does have the Morbid Mask.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I mean, it's on the way at least.
Yeah, he will. He also has a Bastard Ring, so he can sort of sustain himself through mana that way. Just keep morphing down and up. The big thing about that though is Puck died after using his TP, so he has to walk to a lane, and his mid tower took 600 damage versus Magnus. Magnus not typically the hero you'd expect to pressure mid lane.
Yeah, that is true.
And they have to commit more resources to bottom here. With Season has to TP in.
Yep, the siege is still alive as Kezu continues to just tank this up. Kuroki trying to take it out himself. He's going to take heavy damage as a result. Finally, the siege gets taken out, but you can see the damage is done on this tier 1 tower for the most part. The question is, can Viking continue this onslaught on this tower, or will they be forced back by by Team Nigma.
I think the big thing that Nigma does have going for them, though, so we click over to Mind Control. I think he has 4,200 net worth. He's farmed 72 CS, just pulling the waves into neutral creeps. Now, Nigma, they still need to stave off the onslaught from Viking. This Timbersaw is very high pressure early. They're even backing up with both supports.
Dire's middle tower is under
Not
attack.
much they can do about it.
Yeah, Kuro trying to create some sort of presence here. Do you think they just give this up then? Yeah.
I think they have to. They can sort of try to hold their jungle, make sure that Viking need to bring more resources in order to pierce that area of the map, but you can't contest this
Radiant's
Timbersaw right now.
bottom
He's too
tower
fast.
has fallen.
Yep, he's a big boy. But speaking of big boys, like he said, Mind Control has the Vanguard, has 1,400 gold, so Blink Dagger not too far away. And
Radiant
how do you like
structures are
the
fortified.
new axe these days? Like, is there a game where you don't go Manta
For
these days?
Probably. I don't know when. Maybe like you have enough damage, you want to keep out the snowball, because Manta is inherently a slower item.
Yeah.
But you can see with Timbersaw, he took bottom tower so fast, he's just going to come up here to that.
Top lane. All right, speaking of Mind Control, going to get the Chronosphere from Shad. They have the damage with that Chakram into the Timber Chain, but he's so tanky on Mind Control. But again, it's just a matter of time. Faking out the Culling Blade, but not nearly low enough to get a kill.
One spin there, and he had the Void, though. That would have been a big play. And you can see, this is part of the benefit of Viking. They had to play through this Timbersaw. They took bottom tower early. All of a sudden, they can defend their top tower. Even though Axe has 4,400 net worth, he's not able to push forward on the map. You look at his options now, like he doesn't want to go farm neutrals when he's this farm, but I don't think he really has a choice.
Radiant's top tower
As
is under
Kezu now
attack.
showing up in the top lane after that kill.
Really
Bring it out a
smooth
little bit.
rotation by Viking there.
What's that?
Really smooth rotation from Viking there. They got the Void out of the lane, like a disadvantaged lane. They used Kona to kill the highest net worth hero. And now Kezu's defending the top tower and Void's free farming bottom.
Radiant are scared.
Yeah, absolutely. But from Nigma's side, trying to make some sort of push effort on this tier 1 mid, and all they have is Celery and Aramis to try to defend for now. See if they have enough damage. Not deniable yet, as some rotations are on the way for Viking. See if they can actually do something about this. Hex into the Earth Spike with the Chakram to fall from Kezu. Won't have enough damage to actually get the kill here, but it will force off Miracle for now. Looking for that regen, but Celery has been really good at taking these bounties and power runes so far this game. So Viking with a 1k net worth advantage so far, as ILTW now showing up in the top lane.
You can see Nigma's plan here. They just want to move the Timbersaw around. They moved him top. He had to defend the tower or kill the F, and then they immediately start hitting the mid tower, so he has to walk all the way over. Now he has no TB scroll, and ILTW is manning up on that top tower. They are setting up from their blip.
Oh, boom. First RP of the game into the finger. My goodness. That is a deletion of ILTW, and that is the Blink Dagger reveal for Mr. Boom, but at the same time, maybe around a little bit too long. Miracle's here with the coil into orb, and that ends up being an easy trade.
And they have a wagon up here. I think with the Magnus dead, this might be a tower. They might have noticed that TP got cancelled from Viking side as well. So that was the finger you're waiting for all of the Gambit series, huh?
I forgot what it looked like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a very cool
Yeah, it looks
move.
like it still works in Dota, so that's good to
Dire's top
see.
tower is under attack.
But yeah, they do get that tier 1 tower here. And Blink Dagger was picked up by Mind Control. I mean, we've seen a lot of position 1 axes, obviously, where they don't go Blink
Dire's
for a
bottom
while,
tower is under
right?
attack.
Where they just go straight for the Manta into Shard. For offlane, Blink is pretty typical still, but you still end up going Shard Manta at some
Dire's
point in the
top
game,
tower
usually,
is
right?
under
I think typically you do. He even has that chip vest, which helps him farm a lot faster. I think it's sort of your responsibility as an offlaner. If you're having a good game, you have to get an item that can change the status quo of the game. Blink Dagger is usually that item. I think we'll see... I mean, Nigma should smoke here, in my opinion. They have coil at 17, so maybe they'll wait for that. But they have that Boom Astrality. They have the Blink Dagger. They should try to get mid-tower and force a big team fight here.
And meanwhile, Shad was taking out some stacks in the triangle for Viking. He has, I mean, he had Empower, he has Maelstrom right now, and I mean, anytime you're at this state of the game is we're going to see initiation from Mind Control. So Blink Dagger has been revealed, and it was, I mean, it's just on Celery, so no surprise factor coming out from Nigma now. But
He did short on the ward, but that felt like a very, like, lazy blink, right? Like, normally if you get blink, you think, I have a timing, I'm stronger than them, we can force something. I don't know if the info is just that they don't want to take a fight with it, but in my head, it doesn't feel right. Like, they have no RP, they have no finger. You should want to do something with the timing.
Yeah, and then from perspective of Viking, Shad is top net worth as a faceless void. I feel like, I mean, maybe I watch too much NA Dota, Curtis, but I feel like faceless void is this hero that does not get off to a good start a lot of the time. So the fact that he is on top right now.
I think they need to get active. I feel like usually when you have a Morphling, you have sort of the late game advantage. But if you look at this game, I think Lion and Void specifically are really good versus him. And it's hard to shotgun support Abaddon. So like one of your offensive options as a carry Morphling is lower. But I don't feel like Viking should feel they're on a timer. If the status quo continues, like as long as they just keep using their spells on cooldown, they should feel very comfortable this game.
Radiant are scanning.
We see Boom in the jungle.
They're waiting for IO. That's the only thing I can think of. Like, I'm not sure why they don't want to fight. Like, the players, they have better information than the casters because I mean, they're just better at Dota. But I'm not too sure what their comms are like to make them wait.
We get to see a primal split from Kuro on the Brew, but it is position 5, so I'm sure once we see this initiation come through, we'll see all these team fight ults.
He is level 8, and he is just sort of sitting in front of his mid tower, making sure Viking can't go there. Perhaps they just believe in LTW to carry this game. It's not a bad bet, to be honest. Just a bit worried. Like, I feel like it's very easy to mess up on Morphling this game.
Yeah, how do you feel about Morphling versus Void, like in a late game matchup?
I think it's Void favored. I think Morphling generally doesn't like melee heroes that bash him. Traditionally, it's like Lark, Morphling, Troll, Void. They used to all counter Morphling.
Celery showing himself here. Mind Control's gonna finally get off that blink call. Borrow time is already popped. Just gonna get run down here though in all likelihood. Although there is Aramis coming. He gets the Earth Spike up, only connecting on one. They might turn around on him instead. But Celery showing how this position 5. Okay, he's finally gonna get called again and chopped down here. That's the most satisfying spell in the entire game.
It is very satisfying. I really like Mana Void actually. Feels good to hit a good Mana Void.
Except you have to play anti-mage.
I don't like anti-mage. So Lion's actually only 100 gold for 50 gold for his Blink Dagger now.
Really?
He's very
wow.
Structures are fortified.
Aramis. That's crazy.
I think Celery actually didn't know that Abaddon ulti could not remove the axe call because he instantly popped it there at the secret shot. Even if you use it, you're still called.
Yeah. Alright, Kezu taking some pressure here, but Mind Control gets off the call onto 2 heroes, but has to back up now. He's gonna just get, he's gonna get skewered back into the tier 1. They might have to leave him here with the Chakram, the Whirling Death, all this damage from Viking, able to blow up the pretty tanky Mind Control.
They do use the solo chrono on Io. Io still has mech up and is over half HP, so that was a little bit optimistic. But they do get the bigger kill. I think sometimes in those types of team fights where they get really staggered, your comps can get really chaotic. Like maybe Void thought he had a finger there just to finish off the eye or something, but they're focused on the axe.
Right. And Kezu pressuring the tier 1, trying to keep this siege alive again. Been doing a really good job this game. Of course, that is Timbersaw's MO, generally speaking.
Tower is under attack.
Are they getting 2 mechs? Am I crazy?
Who's getting second?
Kuro?
Radiant structures are fortified.
Oh, did they? Yeah, Io has a mech and
Kuro has early it up.
queuing one up right now. We're going to see the primal split. Coil only onto 1 right now. They're actually going to pop it right off the bat. They're going to be able to kill the Storm Panda. There's the RP though, only onto 1 hero. The Chakram to follow. They don't have enough damage to take out LTW right now. So it's a 5v4 in favor of Team Nigma. LTW continue to try to right-click Boom. I mean, he has turned into Faceless Void himself, so he gets off the time walk. Has a ton of HP manipulation now. Gets pressured here again by Kezu. The Berserker's call. Can they actually blow him up in time? It's going to be close. Timeout coming off cooldown. There we go. Shad will live, but the tier 1 falls.
Really clutch play from Kuro there. they coiled the Lion, and Viking was telling him to break the coil so they could shield him. But as soon as he broke coil, he actually threw up the Abaddon in the air. And then, I mean, Abaddon ulti to take off the whirlwind thing, but it's just enough time to finish off that Lion. It's really clutched on the fight.
Kuro trying to get these stacks taken from Shad. Next gets a thunderclap off. He got those as well. Now he's going to get pressured though, but there's the counter initiation from Mind Control onto 2. Sonic Shield applied to Shad. Now they're just going to turn this around. Looks like Kuroki is the first to fall in this engagement. It'll be a 1-for-1 to start. Now we have the relocate coming for GH, so Miracle will be out of here. Mind Control able to blink out in time.
He is going for that Manta style. I think he's identified that they need more carries this game than just the Morphling. If Morphling has to solo carry this game, he's going to get Hex, he's going to get Chrono, RP, everything's going to go on him. And, I mean, you can save him with Isle, but it's very scary, right? Like, they have a lot of damage coming off for Viking eventually.
Right, and he's kind of up to a mediocre start at best.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Normally, you don't see Morphling bottom of the 6 scores in the game. He's a very fast farming hero, very stable at farming.
Very true. Now the Armus has that Blink Dagger. ILTW has to be careful with the low HP manipulation here. He's going for... Is a Dragonlance going for Manta now? In terms of net worth, though, still pretty freaking even overall. And then from Viking's perspective, Shad has the casual Sage going for Scotty next. What do you want him to upgrade this Sage into?
I think he has SMY on Courier.
Or does he have SMY?
Yeah, he has SMY on Courier. I think that's correct. The stash resistance versus Axe is the only thing that really helps versus Call. Not even Aeon just takes it off, for example, or this Abaddon shield. Eventually, I mean, I think Scotty, this is a really good Scotty game, but eventually you're going to want some sort of Lifesteal, and SMY amplifies that. Yeah. They are just doing Roshan, though. This is very cool.
Mind Control and company.
Yeah, they got the Illusion Rune on Axe, which does quite a bit of damage to Roshan, even without the shard, just through getting hit and spinning.
Yeah. Already at half HP, and you can see on the mini-map that Viking are not even remotely aware of this, so it looks like it's going to be a freebie for Team Nigma.
A really good ward from Kuroki in the enemy jungle, just setting up any vision so that they know if Viking are coming.
Roshan has fallen.
And there we go. ILTW takes that Aegis. Do you agree with that choice over Miracle?
Yeah, I feel like Miracle... He should play for the outplay this game. Like, feel like he won't die because he's just gonna be phase shift and move around the fight.
And he's getting Aeon Disc, apparently.
Yeah,
third item.
Good choice.
I was talking to Lacoste about this. How do you think that item is going to get nerfed? What would you do?
I think it just needs a cost.
Yeah, he said the
maybe the vulnerability a bit shorter. Honestly, that item, I think it's gone a bit overrated. Like in EG's last series with LGD, when they had it on Fear and Storm, like it's just straight bad. They should have had DKD. So like it is a strong item, but you can't over-index on it. It doesn't do any damage.
Right. We have a smoke here from Team Nigma on to 4 heroes. We can see that it's mostly for warding purposes, as they're not really going to find anybody, at least not yet. And as we can see, the mech. So yeah, Kuro, oh, we're going to have the initiation. The Mind Control jumps in. Kuro is there. Shad is just going to pop his ult and TP out. But the coil will stop him in his place, so they're going to expend that for the support kill. And a chop down as well from Mind Control.
I feel like Celebrate's pretty happy with that. The coil's the only thing that will really kill this Void. I mean, maybe like if they perfectly time all their spells with all their heroes there. But I don't think Call Silence is generally going to be enough. So he buys his carry like 80 seconds of free farm.
Right. So it looks like Team Nigma did have a conversation about the double mech, Curtis.
That's good.
So Kuro will... he has a 4-step now instead. So that's good to see. I thought it was like... Is there some next level reasoning?
Nah, I remember in Dota 1, mech used to stack, and the terms had to like ban out having more than one mech manually.
And Necro, I think, was 2 max per team or something like that?
Yeah, 1 or 2.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
A lot of restrictions. Pudge wasn't allowed to get a Blink Dagger, Vengeful Spirit as well. We've come a long way. That was basically alpha days for Dota, it feels like.
Yeah, for Dota 2 for sure. And Viking, they smoke up. They have all their spells. Their Abaddon's back up. Not too sure what the point of this smoke is. They had mid and bottom pushing in.
Boom. Yeah, his smoke is going to be revealed by Miracle on the high ground here. Of course, they have pretty much everything up right now, so looking for a potential big initiation into burst.
Yeah, I feel like that smoke was pretty low percentage. They weren't smoking to any wards, and they have one ward at the bottom river, but it's more of a defensive ward to show the rune. And they had mid and bot lane pushed in, so they instantly have to show Timbers on bottom. They instantly have to show us on mid, and they don't find it with that smoke.
Right.
A little bit awkward, but these things happen. Sometimes you think you see a line, and you know, you're just one piece of information's off.
Hey, based on the pace of the game right now, who do you favor?
Radiant's
Net
bottom
worth-wise
tower
is pretty
under
even.
attack.
The heroes on Viking I favor by experience. I favor the experience of Nigma, right?
Right.
Because like the later the game goes, I think the more experience in Dota kicks in. I would say the heroes on Viking
Radiant's
are way
bottom
easier to
tower
play at this
is
point,
under
though.
attack.
You're gonna need just some
Dire's
great
top
relocate
tower
saves.
is
The
under
thing is,
attack.
like, would you trust GH to get a clutch relocate save when he's done it literally 50 times in higher pressure situations?
Right. This is actually kind of cool. Kuroki has a
Dire's
shard
top
queued
tower
up.
is under attack.
That gives
Ooh.
the void
Radiant's
bruising that
bottom
has like the
tower is
disarm.
under attack.
Okay.
So the ultra micro coming in from Kuro. Of course, he's very poor, so Aghanim Scepter would be amazing with the double charge, but
I have never seen the shard.
yeah, it's very rare. So we'll be interested to see how well it works. I mean, if he gets that off on void, obviously that's going to be pretty freaking powerful.
Radiant's
So looking to set up here as the tier 2 is there, but only coil onto 1 as Mind Control gets the initiation and the chop down onto Aramis. And with that, we'll see if Viking tries to back out. Kezu completely surrounded, but the Timber Chain is there. Shad looking for the initiation. Chronosphere onto 3, but there's the relocate while he was chronoed. Nicely done overall, but that's going to be the Aegis down. You can see GH TPing back to the tier 2 tower, which was not taking out Mind Control now. It's the call off only on the 1. Now the waveform, but there is a big RP onto 2. Can they save ILTW? Gets off that Manta style, but boom, again, the skewer back into enemy lines. Celery finally gets the borrowed time off as ILTW continue to get right click, but do they have the damage? It is the question. Shad needs to look for this potential kill. The Timber Chain is there. Now the waveform into the TP. He needs the bash, but he's not going to get it. But in the end, Vikings still get 3 kills. Very nicely done from them.
It's amazing to take a team fight. Even though Lion gets taken out, right before he dies, he drops his high ground ward. It gives him vision of all of Nigma's heroes. It gives him freedom to play the fight. I think a little bit over-aggressive by Shad. I think he maybe could have helped his backline with that Morphling a bit, but they ended up executing really well and winning that fight.
Yeah, I feel like they were very patient with their spells as well.
I did not know you could relocate during Chronosphere.
Well, yeah, he relocated, tethered, and then got stunned, and then he still went out.
No, I thought it stopped it. It definitely used to stop it, or I swear it did. I could be wrong. I don't play much IO. But
Their
maybe they
mechanics
changed it.
have changed like 1,000 times over. People that have been in the scene for a long time,
Our brains don't
like
work.
you and me, it's just, you have to guess at a certain...
Yeah. Also, the tooltips don't say, so because we don't deserve it.
The
We're
tooltip-
scummy Dota players.
The tooltips can be a bit frustrating at times, I won't lie. But, oh, we see a shard on GH, so the tether stunning. The old
That's interesting.
Imba tether back.
You have to break it though, right? Oh no, it's just when they touch it. Sorry, I'm completely wrong here.
It's just something you don't see very
This
often.
shard is underrated. It has to be underrated. Like 10% extra move speed just to move around the map on IO has to be good. And you can double stun people, right? Because it's just when they touch it, so you just cancel and redo it. So it could be a 3.5 second stun. They lack some lockdown for the void. I was saying they needed a coil. Maybe they don't now.
Oh, Celery popping this smoke. He's going to be the one they initiate on again, and I feel like this is exactly what he wants. Gets off the borrowed time. Leaping out, but there's the coil. I feel like this... Are we watching a replay right now?
He's just doing his
I've
job
done this
very
before,
well.
Curtis, at the major. I cast replay. Just double checking that this was...
It was real life.
All right, real life. Thank
Not
God.
a fantasy.
All right, thank you, Aben. Yeah, it feels like Viking are... Like, I have to say, Celery is playing really well this game.
I think so too. I think he's been very on point with his positioning. He's dancing that line, you know. It's support Abaddon. You can't play too far forward because then they just pop your OT for free. but you need to make them think they can go on you, and you need to block all the smokes, and he's done that very well.
Dire's courier has been
Well,
killed.
Mind Control is 100 away from finishing the shard for himself. So
Oh,
he'll have
that's
that.
a big courier snipe. They snipe Kazu's Shivas.
Oh, that was the Mystic Staff, yeah. So 3 minutes with no Shivas.
No Shivas versus IO and Morphling. So they do have a bit of a timing here. They're down 3k, but that effectively makes them 4k stronger. I'm going to give the plate a little bit of value.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, Mind Control, once that shard comes, he's going to feel very... He just buys it now. So the aggro counter helix, as it were, is now online. Well, on the way at least.
All 3 cores from Viking are above Nigma. I think with the Shivas down and with this Manta pickup, they do have damage to win these fights. They can definitely clutch it out. They have a silence to like stop the Abaddon from saving from you know, this double IO spell, tether spell.
Boom and company are smoked up right now, looking for an initiation. They'll find Mind Control, and he is totally surrounded and bursted down. Another charge on that Finger of Death. Viking again, showing the initiative here.
They had that good ward set up. The Nigma D ward barely missed it. And see, this smoke to their ward, it feels a lot better. If you just smoke into an aggressive area, you need any advantage you can get. Last time it felt a bit like they didn't have any purpose. This one, easy ward, easy kill into axe, and now, you know, Nigma, they don't have the Manta timing anymore.
Yeah, of course, Nigma were in the wild cards for the major and played extremely well throughout the tournament. As we're going to see, RP is going to connect. It's going to be down to 3, but the Andis does pop for Miracle, which provides him the hard dispel, but GH gets completely blown up. It will be a trade for the Lion, but it looks like everybody else for Nigma will be able to retreat in time.
That was some sick timing coming up from Boom. It results in a 1-to-1, but only because Miracle's Aeon just barely procced before Lion got off that Impale.
Right.
That would have been a 3-man Impale, and very likely IO and a Morphling dying there.
So that's a pretty big cooldown overall, as we can see the RP fake there from Boom, but there's the Aeon disc being procced. And yeah, that... See why Miracle picked it up so early, and so many players picking that item up early.
Miracle is just being such a nuisance on the map. Even when his Aeon disc is down, he's just cutting waves beside the Viking base.
Yeah, we saw, who was that at the major that was really good? It was Toronto, Tokyo was going ham.
Yeah, he went travels on puck and split push every wave, every game.
Yeah, he was doing a
pretty well
really
for
good
them.
job. As Kuro is 50 gold away from the Shard
I'm excited.
AUI. I am too. The little purple.
I've actually never seen this thing
Really?
used. Yeah.
I've seen it once, I think.
Does it do damage, or is it just a slow dismount? The tooltip says no damage.
Well, what do you mean? Oh, the actual spell itself. Yeah, I don't think it does damage, but I could be wrong. It
I
is a
feel like-
tooltip, so
Yeah, we don't
Can't
deserve to know what our spells do.
you have to buy it to find out. That's the way it happens. Oh, Shad, oh, the Chronosphere onto 1. It's going to be GH taking a tumble. Perhaps looking for ILTW as well, but it was just outside the range. So they have to be happy with that. 40 seconds, no GH.
If Io didn't have the shard, he would call
Dire's
Morphling in
middle
that, because he
tower is
barely
under
walked
attack.
out. He get the 10% move speed. Like, he saw him clipped on the ward, right? So, like, in your head, you're trying to calculate where they'll be, and he's just off because of the extra move speed.
All right, well, they're going to use this opportunity to try to go for Roche. Of course, it's just an IO. They're going to scan this Team Nigma, so they know this is the second Roche, of course.
They have the
The
ward,
shard available.
and Io has no buyback.
That is true. 10 seconds. Shiva's finally delivered to Kazu. My God, ILTW has to be careful. They're going to turn this around with a Finger of Death. They take out Kuroki. Oh, inside the pit, though, the snatch from Shad. So Team Nigma get the actual Roche kill.
Take yours.
Okay, well, that's some XP, some gold. Now, who got the cheese and the shard is the question. Looks like the shard did go to Shad, so he's going to have the reverse time walk.
Did they get the cheese as well there? Magnus has a cheese on him.
Yeah, so they get everything other than the kill on Roach, which doesn't really matter that much, right?
Yeah, I mean, it used to matter a lot back when it was like 1,000 EXP and 200 each for the kill, but the kill is much less than the map control and team fight you'll get from the items now.
Do you agree with Shad taking the shard?
Yeah.
I don't know, have we had the conversation about the reverse time walk?
I think
Like
it's
it?
amazing.
You get the 400 range, which is great.
Yeah.
And then tell me about the reverse time walk aspect to it. Like, what do you like about it?
It just lets you... The range is more important.
You're gonna have to hold those horses, young man. We're gonna have to relocate. Okay, you can start talking again.
Oh, wait. They're gonna set up.
Yeah, they're going back in. Shad gets the time dilation off onto GH. There's the RP. It's only onto the Morphling, who's already popped his attribute shift. They're gonna try to get GH. They'll do so successfully. Of course, the relocate not the greatest. Now ILTW getting pressured into the trees. He goes. He's gonna get skewered back out. Another time dilation to follow. Do they have the damage to finish him off? It looks like the answer to that is yes. Double kill for Shad. In the meantime, Mind Control dies in the mid lane, and now Kuro getting chased by Kezu, who has a shard of his own, so he's breathing fire.
Kezu's build this game is so good. He's just completely destroying this game.
Now with that Chakram into the Whirling Death. 4 dead, and Viking lose nobody. But Miracle again, pushing out these lanes, trying to be the nuisance that you were talking about.
They do have Wagon on bottom, so Puck cannot push that out. What were we talking about before that big fight happens where Viking just obliterated Nigma?
What's it, the Shad?
Oh, the Shard.
Shard?
Yeah, the Shad Shard. I think it's really good. I mean, you can sort of fake Chronos. You can like force out BKBs with it. It's impossible to catch him. Eventually you'll get an egg him. But most importantly, I think the 400 range just lets you play Dota like a normal hero.
Right.
Radiant structure.
You used to have to go Blink Dagger on Faceless Void before talents were added. And once talents got added, you could just take the range. But then they moved it from a talent to the Shard. So now you need a Shard eventually.
Yeah, I think the 400 range is pretty freaking huge for sure.
I think shards in general, giving them to your cores, just sort of multiplying the network on your 1 position and 2 position is generally like the correct path to take.
I think if it's like somewhat close and power spike is like, if there's a support that is like way better though, I feel like you probably give it to
It's just like supports, you don't have that many items to buy and you have a lot of gold dispatch, so eventually you'll get your shard.
Like you could argue Aramis's shard was like really good value this game to pick up.
Aramis' shard?
Yeah, the
Lion
BKB.
I don't think it's that good this game.
Really?
I think it's a bit overrated. It's really strong. It's one of the best shards. I feel like people just rush it. Like this game, I like his items a lot more. I don't think the shard does anything from here. He doesn't want to stand still in these fights and mana drain.
Fair enough. GH with that Ghost Scepter and be forced out as Shad jumping in. He actually wants to get this kill. Looks like he'll be successful with the Chronosphere. It's going to connect on the Mind Control as well, who's just trying to help out his little buddy. Seller is there. Don't think they're going to be able to follow this up, though. But they do get the kill onto GH. 40 seconds on the deck. It does have buyback, though.
That was fancy footwork there. That was a shard. He jumped back offensively.
Yeah, you never know if he's going to jump back or not. The mind games are real. Shad.
Free courier comes back.
All right, that worked out pretty well. I like it.
Having more options in Dota is good, right? Like just in general. So if you can do something, it gives you an option to outplay them or more tools.
And Viking able to get that tier 3 tower. Looking for the melee racks here.
I don't know how to supplicate this. He killed his Faceless Void. He had Skadi and he went for the lifesteal on Satanic, as I said, and he's a beast.
Yeah, anytime, even if you get the silence now, you just dispel it with Satanic.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's one of the best changes.
That was.
Yeah, that item is redonkulous now. Absolutely. He's going to jump in, but they know he doesn't have Chronosphere. They're not going to be too scared. Doesn't have Agnum Scepter either, so you're not going to get that bash. So you can see top lane getting a little bit pressured right now by the illusions of ILTW. But look, Rex. The stun! The GA shard. Turning out to be pretty value there at least, but we're going to see on the other side here. Looking for Miracle. Oh, he might be in some trouble. Gets the coil out, but the figure of death blows him up. 70 seconds of no Miracle. And Shad just continuing to go ham here. He's going to get Berserker call, but he is more than healthy. Still has the Aegis intact. This could be a second Rax for Viking.
You do have ILTW. He's pushing pretty fast top with that Butterfly and IO relocating even.
That's true. We're going to see the skewer here onto Mind Control. See if they can finish him off as well. Basically in enemy territory right now. You can see ILTW getting some help from GH in the meantime. But Mind Control is easily going to get right-click down right now by Boom. Shockwave finishes him off. So double racks for Viking. You can see the Aegis was finally expired here. And all Nigma could get was that tier 3 tower top. Did a little bit of damage to the melee, but that's about it. Chronosphere back up at 35 seconds. For no puck for quite a while now. As there's the RP into the skewer onto 2 heroes. And GH is dead again. Does have buyback though. Double kill for Boom. RP actually still down. ILTW has that BKB, but he's just going to get bashed down into oblivion. GG is called, and Viking take a sliver of... I feel like they were up by just a bit, like 1K, 2K, but they're able to just amplify that into an absolute stomp.